Good evening once again. Today we're going to learn how to create the efficient frontier for a two-asset portfolio. So may I request you to please copy the Apple returns. Okay, please go to our two-asset portfolio and then press Control and then Intel. So we're going to look at the two-asset portfolio for Apple and Intel. Of course, you may wish to use other two assets, but we'll just for our example we'll use Apple and Intel. Now, one good thing about copying, even if it's hidden, okay, it will still copy all those hidden rows. Kasi may hidden rows tayo dito, no? So Control C, copy natin, and then I go to one sheet here. Okay, Control V. Okay, there. So I have now the returns of Apple and Intel. Okay. All right. And as I said, it copied even those hidden rows. All right. Now, what we're going to do is, so this is the returns of Apple. What we're going to do is we have to compute for the excess returns. So what's excess returns? Excess returns is simply the difference of the return with the average return. Okay, so let's do that. I'm going to copy Apple and Intel, and I'm going to put here a label, Control 1. Okay, alignment. I'm going to merge it, and I'm going to write there excess returns. Okay, wrong spelling. Okay. So we're going to compute the excess returns. Why? Because we need this to compute our variance covariance. Before, guys, how did we compute our variance covariance? We base it on the returns. Okay. Today we're going to use the excess returns to compute for our variance covariance. Okay. So how do you compute for the excess returns for Apple? It's simply equal to your Apple return minus, and we get the average of the Apple returns there. Okay, so it's the average of all the returns of Apple. It's the individual return of Apple minus the average. Okay, so let's fix this. Let's fix the row because we're going to copy this. Okay, we're going to copy this to the right and down. Okay, so Control Enter. Okay, so this is the excess return. So we can copy this to Intel. So there. So this is now C3 minus C210. Okay, and then we can copy this down. All right. So that's our excess returns for Apple and Intel. Okay, let me pause for a while, guys, and kindly chat, please, if you were able to compute for the excess returns for Apple and Intel. Please chat, guys, if you're okay, so that we can proceed. Okay, now that we have compute uh, for the excess returns, we will now compute for the so let's get annualized returns. Okay, take note that these are weekly. These are your weekly values, right? So let's compute for the annualized average returns. This is annualized already. Okay. For the returns, guys, we will base it on the actual returns, not the excess returns. But for the variance and the standard deviation, we're going to base it on the excess returns. Okay. So let's see. Okay. Average returns will be equal to, okay, average is the average of the returns of Apple, control shift down arrow, control backspace. Okay. Okay, I'm not going to fix anything here because we're not going to copy it down. We're just going to copy it to the right. And then how do we annualize? These are weekly data, right? These are weekly data. How do we annualize this? Anyone, guys? Weekly data, annualize, guys. How do we do that? Can somebody please unmute and share your answer? Weekly yung data natin, paano natin siya i-annualize? Hello, guys. Okay, thank you, Robert. Yeah, you're correct. Multiply by 52. Okay, so salamat, Robert. No, 52 times the average. Okay, so we get the average of the returns of Apple, and then multiply it by 52 because we want to make it and make the returns annualized. Okay, Control Enter. Okay, so that's 0.36224, which is the same as this one, 36224, the same. So we're just repeating this. All right, then we can copy this to the right. Okay, 6% also for maybe reduce the, okay. All right, then for the variance, guys, we will be using the variance. We will get the variance of the excess returns. So this is equal to var.s. Okay, for the sample variance. Then we get this, control backspace. Okay, and then the same thing, guys, for variance, we have to multiply this by 52. 52 times the variance of our excess returns. Control Shift Enter. Okay, maybe let's copy the format. Okay, just 4 decimal places. So this one we can copy to the right there. So and then lastly, the standard deviation. This is equal to, do we multiply it by 52, guys? What should we multiply it with? Let me first stdev.s. Let's get the standard deviation of the excess returns. Okay, what do we multiply this with, class? Is it 52 to get the standard deviation? Anyone, please? Yung variance, guys, we multiplied it by 52. For the standard deviation, what do we multiply it with? Just take note of the relationship between variance and standard deviation. Anyone, please? Okay, thank you, Abigail. You're correct. It's a square root of 52. So square root, SQRT, 52, okay, times standard deviation. Okay, so enter. Again, let's copy the format here. There. If we check, guys, if we check, let's get the square root of our variance. Okay, so this is correct. All right, and then let's compute for our variance covariance. Okay, because we will be needing that matrix, the variance covariance, to compute for our for our portfolio risk. Okay, so once again, go to data analysis, and we use the covariance. Okay, and then we use, guys, our input data range will be, it will be the Apple excess returns. I'm sorry, should be both the Apple, we're getting the covariance of Apple and Intel. Let's include the header. And then it's grouped by columns. You have labels in the first row, Apple and Intel. And then let's put our output. Let's put it here below here. Okay. Okay, so this is the variance, covariance matrix. Let's click. Okay. All right. Okay, now it looks like they're different kasi ano, this is, guys, this is the variance of Apple is 0.09. This is standardized, no? Okay, this is this is annualized, not standardized. Okay, so this is variance var covar. This is for weekly excess returns. Okay, we will need annualized var covar. So let's copy this, Control C, and we're just going to copy the values. Okay, perhaps we can just put borders here. Thick border, top and bottom. Conditional thick. Okay, anyway. Okay. And remember, guys, we have to copy this. All right. Then how do we let me copy this, Control C, Control V. So this is now, we want annualized, no? Annual var covar using the annual excess returns. Remember, we multiply this by 52 because this is variance covariance, no? Okay, so Control C, to recall, guys, copy this, and then paste special, and then just multiply. Okay, so you can see here, guys, that the variance of Apple is 0.089. This is 0.0897. Some rounding off because what we did was just to copy this. Okay, kasi kinapi lang natin yung values nitong var cover natin. So magkakaroon talaga tayo ng some a little bit of a discrepancy. Variance ni Intel 1067, ito 1061. Okay? So medyo may konting discrepancy, no? Okay. So we're going to use this variance covariance in creating our efficient frontier. Okay. So let's now create our efficient frontier. Once again, Control C, Control V, and then let's copy this, Control C, Control V. Well, we're going to put the weights here. All right. So gagawa tayo ng portfolio, guys. Gagawa tayo ng portfolio for Apple with our portfolio Apple and Intel. Okay, and then we're going to compute the portfolio returns. Portfolio returns. And also the standard deviation. Okay, for different portfolios, magkakaiba yung weights. No? So ang gagawin natin dito, so we're going to start with Apple. I'll explain in a while. 150%. I'll explain why 150%. So if Apple is 150%, what does that mean? Intel should be 1 minus 150%. Okay? So bakit 1 minus 150%? Kasi dapat ang total niya, ang total dapat ni Apple at saka Intel should be 1. So if we add 150 and negative 50, that's 1. So okay yung total weight natin. Okay? So ang gagawin natin, si Apple will range from 150 down to negative 50. Tapos si Intel will range from negative 50 down to 150. Parang nag-reverse lang sila. So let's use the fill button, guys. Fill function. Alam nyo to. Home, fill, series. We're going to do series in rows and columns, I mean. And then ang step value natin, gawin natin bababa siya ng 10%, no? Step value is negative 10%. Bakit negative? Kasi si Apple, we're going to decrease it by 10%, 10%, until it reaches negative 50%. Okay? So, step value, 10%. Of course, pwede rin yung 5%, 5%, 5%. But for our purposes, gawin na lang natin 10%. Stop value is negative 50%. Okay? Okay, there. You can see that hanggang negative 50 siya. Tapos si Intel, ang formula nito, 1 minus yung weight ni Apple. So double click natin to. Okay, so si Intel naman, negative 50 hanggang positive 150. Okay, so balance lang siya, guys, no? Okay, itong mga negative, guys, kasi paano yung negative na ano? Pwede ba magka-negative na weight sa investment? Okay, pati ito dito, ano? Okay, ito yung mga negative na weights. No? Is that possible? Okay, ang tawag dyan, guys, short sales. Shorting. Short sales. So what does this mean? What does that mean? Ang ibig sabihin itong negative 50 na to, kunyari may 100 pesos tayo, no? So, ipa-a-portion natin yan. Ang mangyayari, guys, yung sa Intel, parang uutangin muna natin, okay? Uutangin muna natin yung 50% nun, tapos ilalagay natin sa Apple. So, ang mangyayari kay Apple, 150% ng funds natin na kay Apple, tapos yung kay Intel, parang inutang muna natin, no? That's why negative 50 siya. Ganon din dito, guys. Dito sa dulo, negative 50 kay Apple, okay, inutang natin 50% na yan, tapos linagay natin kay ano? Linagay natin kay Intel. Okay? So that's called short selling. Now sa Philippines, hindi pa pwede yan. Okay? Yung short selling. Pero sa ibang bansa pa pwede. But let's just, ang gawin muna natin, for purpose of example, okay, let's assume that it's okay here. Kasi ang gusto lang naman natin, i-plot yung efficient frontier. No? Okay, so ito guys, ito walang short selling to. Kasi ibig sabihin nito, 100% kay Apple, 0% kay Intel, and combinations siya. No? Combinations. Okay, so let's now compute for our portfolio returns. Okay, let's compute for our portfolio returns. Okay, di ba naalala niyo yung formula ng portfolio returns natin? Ang formula ng portfolio returns natin, so let me just backtrack here. Ito, di ba? The return of the portfolio is equal to the sum of the weight times the return. So weighted average ng returns ng portfolio natin. Okay? So meron tayong, ito yung weights natin. Asan yung return ng portfolio natin? Ito. This one. This is the return of our portfolio. Okay, so ang gagawin natin, i-multiply natin si 150% by 36.22% at saka si negative 50 by 6.13%. Okay, and the fastest way to do that is, as you know, sum. Okay, bago tayo mag-sum product, lagyan muna natin ng pangalan to. No? It's best to give this a name para i-refer na lang natin doon. So let's call this portfolio portret 1. No? Portfolio return 1. It's up to you, whatever name you want to put there. So let me just call that portrait 1. So our portfolio returns natin will be the sum product ng weights, okay? At saka yung portrait 1 natin. So let me just type that portrait 1 there. Okay, alam natin na ito yung portrait 1. Okay? So we can copy this down kasi yung portrait 1 fixed na yan, no? Sa formula natin. Okay, of course, pwede naman hindi nyo binigyan ng name, highlight nyo to, tapos i-fix nyo lang yung average returns na yan. Okay, control enter. Alright, so let's just make it, gawin na lang din natin ng 4 decimal places para consistent tayo. No? Okay, and then, copy down. Alright, so ito yung portfolio returns natin. No? Ito. These are our portfolio returns. Okay, tapos tingnan natin yung maximum dito. Ano ba yung maximum dito? Maximum, okay, 0.5127, which is this one. Okay? So, ibig sabihin guys, kung gusto natin yung maximum returns, ang strategy natin, mag-short sales tayo ng Intel na 50%, tapos ilalagay natin sa Apple yun 150% lahat. Kasi that will give us the highest returns. Okay? If risk is not an issue, kunyari masyado tayong, for people who are really aggressive, as far as mga risk takers sila, most probably gagawin nila to kung possible, pero sabi nga natin bawal ang short sale sa Philippines. Okay, hindi mo pwedeng gawin to. Okay? But let's just assume for the purposes of discussion pwede, no? So ito yung pinakamagandang strategy, no? Mag-short sale ka ng Intel ng, as far as this is concerned, yung mga natin kasi baka pwede pantaasan yan, no? However, kung walang short sales, ito guys ang pinakamaganda. Okay, 100% kay Apple, 0% kay Intel. And understandably so, because 36% yung return ni Apple, si Intel 6% lang. Okay? However guys, di ba sabi natin, yung principle ng risk and return, no? So we have to take a look at the risk also. So how do we compute for the risk? Okay, balikan natin tong yung formula natin dito. How do we compute for the risk? 'Di ba? Ang formula natin diyan yung pinaka-shortcut natin is the sum product of the M-mult ng weight tsaka ng variance covariance tapos weight ulit, no? Weight, variance, covariance, weight. Okay, so we will apply that here. Okay, I will not explain that anymore kasi na-discuss natin dito 'yon. Okay, so we'll use that to compute for our standard deviation. Okay, ito pwede rin natin bigyan ng pangalan to, no? Kasi ang gagamitin natin na var cover hindi yung weekly guys, it should be the annual, no? Annualized. So lagyan natin ng pangalan yan, tawagin kong var cover 1. 1 muna kasi mamaya gagamit pa tayo ulit ng var cover ulit. All right? So let's compute for this. Remember, anong formula natin? Square root of the sum product, okay, of M-mult. Yan, yung tatlong yan, no? Mas ginamit natin to kasi mas mahirap yung yung M-mult transpose, mas mahirap 'yon, no? But of course, ang pinakamahirap yung individually iaan natin yung mga terms ng portfolio risk, no? Okay? So first is what? Yung weight matrix, weight natin ito. This is a weight, no? Okay? So hindi natin i-fix yan kasi ikakopy natin yung formula pababa. Comma, ano yung natin? Ano yung variance covariance matrix natin? Ito yun, no? Di ba? Binigyan natin ng pangalan yan. Ang tawag dyan, var cover. Yan, no? Var cover 1. There. Okay? Very convenient. Hindi na natin i-fix yan. And then comma. Then the weight matrix again. Yan. Okay, close. Double close. Yan. So that's the formula, guys, for the risk of the portfolio with Apple 150%, tapos Intel negative 50%. Okay, and then you press Control Shift Enter. Okay, but na number, let's see. Square root, sum product, M mult, L3, M3. Ano ba yung var cover natin? Ito, no? Ay, wait guys. Dali, check natin ha. May mali yung ano natin. Why is our var cover like this? Okay, very sorry guys. Ulitin natin tong var cover ha. Dapat pareho to eh, no? So something's wrong with this. Okay. I-copy ko muna to dito, no? So kinopy ko siya dito. And then apologies guys ha. Hindi ko na notice na dapat pareho lang yung covariance ng Intel with Apple sa Apple with Intel. They should be the same. No? So let me copy this. May mga formula kasi to, no? May mga formula. So kung dadagdagan natin ng ng decimal place. Dagdagan na lang natin para medyo mas accurate ng konti. Control C, copy natin and then paste special values. Okay? There. So mga values na siya, no? Tapos 'di ba i-multiply natin ng 52 yan para maging annualized, no? So copy natin si 52, control C. I-copy natin dito. Paste special and then just multiply, no? I-multiply yung 52 sa lahat ng terms dito, okay? Okay, there. Okay, pare-pareho na siya, no? Sorry about kanina, no? Kasi dapat i-check, dapat yung variance, covariance, guys, it should be yung covariances nila dapat pareho. Okay, tingnan natin kung may pangalan pa to. Yes, var, covar. All right, there you go. So, okay, standard deviation natin, guys. Okay, tama yung formula natin. Square root ng sum product ng M mult, ng weight, at saka ng var cover natin, at saka ng weight natin. And then control, shift, enter. Make sure of that, guys. Type ko lang dito. Make sure na control plus shift plus enter. There. Okay, any questions guys sa standard deviation? Pwede na natin madrag yan. There. Okay, any questions guys sa standard deviation? Sa risk ng portfolio? Okay, reverse ko yung question guys. Clear ba so far? Paki-chat naman please. Nakahabol ba kayo dito sa standard deviation? Were you able to key in your values for portfolio returns and standard deviation? Okay, thank you, Abigail. How about the rest, guys? Waiting for the others. Ian, thank you. Let's wait for your classmates. Okay, Robert, thank you. Okay, Ian, Robert. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you. Okay, so I hope the others are able to follow. All right. So based on risk, guys, let's look for the minimum. Let's look for the smallest risk here. Okay, 2639. Okay, looks like, guys, the smallest one is 2639, this one here. Okay, 2639. 2639. So that means, guys, that our optimal portfolio based on this is 60-40. 60% Apple and 40% Intel. It has a return of 0.2418. Okay, if we're going to compare it with the standard deviation of Apple, Apple has a standard deviation of 2995. Okay, and Intel has 32%, and our portfolio has a lower standard deviation than any of these two assets. Okay, which we amplified before. We said that indeed diversifying your assets, or instead of just single assets, when you diversify based on what we learned last time, right, diba? When you add more assets to your investments here, if you increase the number of assets, your risk, your total risk goes down. Okay, your diversifiable risk goes down. What remains is your systematic risk. So no amount of adding more stocks in your portfolio will ever reduce risk because this is something that's outside the control of the investor. Okay, so let's go back here. All right, now the question is this really the minimum variance? Okay, is this really the minimum variance? We cannot conclude that because we were just working on increments of 10%. What if it was 61%? We did not compute for 61%, right? What if it was 65%? What if it was 52 or 58%? Okay, so we can only have this initial guess that it's around 60%. So what do we have to do? We have to compute for the actual weights that will minimize the risk. So that's what we're going to do now. So let me delete this. Okay, so we will need to compute our optimal okay, we call it minimum risk. We call it, sorry, optimal minimum risk portfolio. Okay, so this means, guys, that we would like to compute what really is the portfolio mix. How many percent Apple, how many percent Intel should we invest in so that we have minimum risk. Okay, we said that we're not sure about this because we were doing increments of 10%. What if it was 61%, as I mentioned a while ago? We can't answer that because we don't have those values here. So what we're going to do is we're going to create, okay, so this ito yung mga weights natin. Okay, we're going to ask Excel to solve or to compute for the weights that will minimize the risk. Okay, so let's also compute for the returns and then the standard deviation. So now, hindi pa natin alam kung ano to, no? But we can already compute for the returns. Actually, we can just copy this formula here. Control C, Control V. Okay, so I copied the formula. Okay, let me see what this formula is. Let's validate if this formula is correct. I just copied it from here. Okay, please tell me, guys, is this formula correct? The returns is equal to the sum product of the weights and the portfolio returns. Correct, guys? Correct? Is this formula correct? Kindly chat, please, or kindly unmute yourself. Tama ba yung formula ng returns natin dito? Hello? Anyone who'd like to reply? Tama ba, class, yung formula ng returns? Okay, so this is the correct formula, guys. Di ba ang returns, kinocompute yan by multiplying yung mga weights natin with the portfolio returns. Ito, ganun din, guys. Tama ito. The variance is still correct. No? We're just using the formula to using these weights. Nagva-value lang siya, guys, kasi wala pang laman to. Pero paglagay natin to kunyari ng 10% at saka 90%, okay? So magkakaroon yan, no? 10 at saka 90, ito yon. 10, 90, 0.0914, tama. Tsaka 0.3076, tama. No? Okay? So what are we going to do, guys? We would like Excel to compute for this. Hanapin niya yung weights so that yung standard deviation will be the minimum. Okay? And there's one other thing that we must do. We need to compute for the total weight. Okay, the total weight is just the sum nitong weights natin. Weight 1 and weight 2. Okay? Okay, question. What should our total weight be? You know that, guys. Our total weight should be how much? Should be 100%. Okay, sinagot ko na yung tanong ko. No? Should be 100%, guys. Lahat yan, guys, 100% lang yung sum yan. Yung weight 1 plus weight 2 should be 100%. Okay? So that, kunyari, kung 20% to, dapat ito 80% yan. Okay? Dapat 1 yan or 100%. Okay, so we should impose that condition. So, tanggalin ko na muna to. And then, how do we ask Excel to solve this? We're going to use solver. No? Data. Paki-check nga yung data, guys. Data and then solver. Kindly check if you have solver sa Excel nyo. Siguro na pwede kayo mag-chat, guys, kung yes or no, no? Kung pwede, please, paki-chat kung yes or no, kung meron kayong solver sa analysis nyo, please. Okay, thank you, Julia. Tricia, thank you. Robert, Ziying, thank you. Okay, good. Okay, so all of you have, maraming salamat, guys. Yun yung gusto ko, guys, yung nagre-respond kagad kayo. Okay, walang solver? Is there anybody here who does not have solver dun sa analysis niya? Okay, wala. Sige. All right. So we're going to use solver. Tapos na ba kayo ng DSI management? Paki-chat ulit, please. DSI MGTS. Yes or no? Okay, yes. Okay, good. Good. So medyo alam niyo na yung, medyo may idea kayo ng optimization. That's good. So we're going to use optimization here. Okay, so let's go to solver. Solver. Okay, reset alt muna. Okay. So first, ano ba yung objective natin? What's our objective? Ang objective natin is to minimize the risk. Okay, so where's the risk? Where's the risk in our model here? Ito yung risk, di ba? Ito yung risk. So I'm going to set this objective equal to the standard deviation. There. And then, what type of objective? This is a minimization problem. Minimize natin. No? And then what are our changing cells? Changing cells are our decision variables. Ito yung gusto natin ma-solve. So we're going to highlight itong mga weights na to. No? Itong mga weights na to, those are our changing variable cells. And our constraint is that the total weight should be equal to 100%. Okay, so let's add here. Add natin yung constraint natin. Ano nangyari sa Excel? Okay, add. Cell reference natin is our total weight. And then it should be equal to 1 or 100%. No? Dapat 100% yan. Okay. Okay, so there you have it, guys. This is our model. Dito sa dulo, nakalagay dito, make unconstrained variables non-negative. Naka-default na siya, naka-click yan. Ibig sabihin nun, yung mga weights natin should be not negative. Okay? Yung mga negative natin, andi dito na lang yan, ano? So, not negative siya. And then, the method, siguro nung sa DSI management nyo, ang method na ginagamit nyo is simplex. Okay, simplex linear programming. But we're not going to use that. We're going to use gradient method, non-linear. Kasi non-linear tayo eh. Yung standard deviation, guys, if you take a look at this formula, it's an M-mult. Okay, so the simplex LP will not work here. Non-linear to. So we're going to use non-linear. Okay, so solve natin. Okay, before Control Alt print screen. Okay, and then iso-solve natin. Solve. There. All right. Solver found a solution. All constraints and optimally conditions are satisfied. Okay. All right. So ito yung weights daw natin. Lagyan ko lang ng decimal to para Okay. So it's around 57.7%, guys. At saka 42.3, that will give us a standard deviation that's 26.38. Ilalagay ko lang sandali dito yung yung solver parameters so that you can have reference to this. No? Yeah, between solver parameters natin. All right. Let's check, guys. 2638. Okay. Tingnan natin yung standard deviation natin dito na 60%. 2639. Let's, for purposes of comparison, let me just add here. So that's 26390. Ito naman, 263879. Talagang mas maliit, no? Really smaller. Okay? So, ito guys, ito na yung weights na magbibigay sa atin ng pinakamaliit na risk. Given this condition that our annualized return is this one, and that our variance covariance is equal to this one, ito na guys yung pinakamaliit na ano natin. Ito na tinatawag natin na optimal na minimum risk na portfolio. Okay, so let's insert it here. 57.7, so that's below 60, you know. I'm going to insert a column there, a row there, and then i-link natin is equal to this one. Okay, link natin. Siyempre, copy the formula. Okay, and then copy this down. Tanggalin ko tong field na to. Ayusin ko lang yung format, guys. Okay. So I'm going to fill this with a different color. Siguro ito na lang. And then red, bold. Okay. Just to signify that this is the portfolio that will give us the minimum variance. Yan, 26379. So wala nang ibang portfolio, guys, na magbibigay sa atin ng pinakamaliit na variance. Ito na yon. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to now draw the drawing na natin yung efficient frontier natin, and then I'm going to explain what that means. Okay, so once again, guys, mag-insert tayo. Insert. We're going to use the scatter plot. Ito gagamitin natin, guys, no? Okay, smooth lines and markers. This one. Of course, wala pa siyang laman kasi hindi pa naman natin hin-highlight yung data natin. Okay, then right-click, select data. Select data. Okay, and then add. Add natin, tawagin natin efficient frontier, yung series name natin. Efficient frontier. Our X values will be the standard deviation. There. Standard deviation. And then our Y values will be portfolio returns. Okay. Standard deviation, X value natin. Laging nasa X-axis, guys, yung risk, no? Standard deviation. And then, ang Y natin yung returns. Okay? All right. Okay. Okay, pause muna ako, guys, in order for you to follow along. Okay, I'll give you a few seconds. Okay, medyo nakikita natin yung optimal portfolio natin, yung ano natin, efficient frontier. Let's just modify the plot a bit. Okay, may I proceed, guys? Paki-chat nga kung you have the plot already, or if you need more time, I would appreciate some feedback from you. Yes, Sir Angeline. So proceed na ba ako, or so I'll still give you a few minutes, guys. I hope na plot nyo na to, no? Okay, thank you, Ziying. Need natin yung i-plot yung standard deviation sa x-axis and your portfolio return sa y-axis. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Okay, I hope you're able to follow along. Okay. If not, guys, you can revisit this video. Anyway, ipopost ko siya. Tapos maganda i-practice nyo siya. No? Okay. Now let's improve our plot a bit. Yung ano natin, yung efficient frontier natin medyo malayo sa y-axis. Kasi yung ano natin, yung x-axis nagsimula sa 0. Ang pinakamaliit natin mga 20 ano yata 20 ang ano natin ang standard deviation ito 26%, no? So tapos 0% yung ano natin start. So what let's just decrease this. Highlight natin yung x-axis, format axis. Highlight natin yung axis and then format axis, and let's wait. Yan, no? Minimum 0. Gawin natin minimum na natin ano ba 20 at 22%. 0.22, no? 0.22, enter. Yan, okay? So mas maganda-ganda 'to, no? Mas malapit-lapit sa ano sa dito. Okay, so let's do this. Anuhin natin yung ano niya, yung format, yung design niya. Yan, mas maganda kasi ito, mas kitang-kita natin. Okay. All right. So you see here, guys, asan dito yung minimum variance? 379. Okay, medyo magkadikit tong ano, no? Tapos ito pang isa. Okay, so let's highlight, guys, yung 379. No? Isa lang yun. Click nyo muna. Tapos pag click nyo kasi magki-click yung iba, then another click. Click nyo ulit. Yan. Okay, so ayan na siya yung highlight natin. 2638. Okay, 2638. Yan. And then let's put a color to it. Format natin. Yan. Okay. So kita natin, guys, that this is the minimum variance. Yung pulang yan. That's your return na 23.49. Ilagyan din natin ng filter. Return niya 23.49. Tapos risk niya 26.38. Yun. Maybe let's put a data label here. So yung siya lang, siya lang. Okay, so keep on clicking. Right click. Add data label natin. Yan. Tapos right click ulit. Format data label natin. Sama natin, guys, si oops, kaso nasama yung iba, no? Okay. Control Z. Ito lang gusto kong lagyan ng ano ng data label. Ito lang, no? Double click. Medyo sensitive siya. Format data label. Okay, dapat kasama yung X value. Yan. Okay, there. Gawin ko ang yellow siya. Okay, there. Okay, so ito, guys, yung pulang yan yung minimum variance natin. That's our minimum variance. Okay, so let me just quickly discuss what the importance of that minimum variance is. Okay? So gamitin ko lang yung digital pen. Let me see. Okay, sige, while I'm accessing the digital pen, guys, I hope you're able to follow along. If you have any questions about the plot, please chat now or please unmute yourself. Okay, meron na pala. All right. So, okay, take a look at this, guys. Ito yung minimum variance natin, no? So this is our minimum variance. Ibig sabihin, guys, and then itong mga points na yan, lahat ng mga points na yan, guys, yan yung mga, itong mga points na to, yun yung mga weights natin. Okay? And we created this portfolio based on yung returns natin na ng Apple at saka Microsoft. Okay. So what do you notice about this one? Kunyari, itong point na to. Itong point na to, this one. Masyado malaki. This point, guys, ito. Is this an efficient one? No, hindi siya efficient. Kasi tingnan natin na, ito yung risk niya, no? Drop natin dito. Okay, ito yung risk niya, di ba? Sa x-axis, itong point na to. And then ang return niya ito. Ito yung return niya. Now, this is inefficient kasi there will be another one, another portfolio, okay, na nasa efficient frontier natin. Okay, efficient frontier. Frontier, guys, means yung line na yan, no? Yung curve na yan. Efficient, guys, means, okay, if you're comparing this portfolio and this portfolio, mas maganda, guys, si portfolio na to. Di ba? Bakit? Kasi mas mataas yung returns niya, given the same level of risk. Dito, guys, so ito yung risk niya, pero ito lang yung returns niya. Ito naman, guys, this weight, this portfolio, ito yung returns niya, tapos pareho lang yung risk. Alright? So lahat ng mga points na to, guys, below this minimum variance, guys, ang mga yan, inefficient yan. No? Inefficient. So ito yung minimum variance natin, di ba? Ito. Yan. Ito. Actually, ito, no? So yung mga points natin dito sa efficient frontier, below the red dot here, the minimum variance, call this the minimum variance, pinakamaliit na variance, pinakamaliit na risk, inefficient yan. While on the other hand, itong mga to, okay, those above, ito yung mga efficient na. Okay, sila yung mga efficient. Okay. Ito yung mga efficient. Okay. Do they have the same returns? No. Okay, kunyari, ito at saka ito. Magkaibang returns yan. Tapos, pero magkaibang risk nila. Okay, so we call that, di ba? We call it the risk and return trade-off. So it's a trade-off. Okay, di ba? Gusto mo mas mataas na return? Okay, dito ka. No? Dito, kunyari dito. O dito, yung pinakamalaki sa natin, sa efficient frontier. However, you should be willing to take on a great amount, since we're assuming a great amount of risk here, we should be compensated for that risk that we're taking. As compared to this one, for example, ito lang yung return niya, no? Ito lang, dito sa point na to. Pero yung risk niya mas mababa compared to this one. Okay? So this is what we call the efficient frontier, ito yung minimum variance. Okay, so ito yung theory ni Markovich, no? Yung modern portfolio theory. You can also create portfolios, no? Pwede ka mag-create ng iba't ibang portfolios that are not on the efficient frontier. And these portfolios, okay, kunyari itong portfolio na to, ito, meron siyang specific na return at saka meron siyang specific na risk. Diba? Itong portfolio na yan, isang point dito, yan, ano? Okay, pero guys, hindi yan efficient kasi it's not on the efficient frontier. why is it not efficient? I can come up with a portfolio, itong portfolio na to, no? Which has a higher return than this one, and yet pareho lang yung risk nila. The same amount of risk. Okay? So that's our efficient frontier. Very interesting, guys. And this is one of the bedrocks of modern portfolio theory. Okay, so let me pause for a while. Any questions about this before we go to the second to the last topic? Any questions, guys, about this efficient frontier? Itong minimum variance? Okay, paki-chat nga please kung clear naman so far. Kung nakuha, guys, yung ano natin, yung pag-plot natin ng minimum variance natin ng efficient frontier. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Kasama to, guys, no, sa group question next week, ha? Okay, so you will be tasked to create an efficient frontier, pero this time tatlong assets. So you have to do a little research lang kung paano kaya kung 3 assets, kasi ito 2 assets lang. Okay, thank you so much. Now let's go here. Okay, last natin to. Last sa risk and return portfolio natin. Okay, still using, guys, yung ano natin, yung 8 assets plus the 9th, which is your index. So ang gagawin muna natin, okay, ang objective natin dito, guys, mag-ano tayo, no? We will be computing for portfolio returns, portfolio risk, no? We will compute for the ano ba yung pinaka best optimal portfolio given certain parameters. So let's just insert here, mag-insert tayo dito ng ilan? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Mga 11 rows, guys. 11 columns, insert tayo. Insert ng mga 11 to 12 columns. Bakit? Kasi, guys, kukunin natin yung ano nila, yung excess returns. No? Control C, Control V. Okay, so dito, Control 1. Emerge ko lang yung cells. Tapos I'm going to call this excess returns. So let's compute for the excess returns. Okay. So very quickly, guys, alam natin to, excess returns from Apple will be the price of Apple minus the average of Apple. Ay, mali. Ba't dun ko inano? Average ng Apple is okay, here. Hanggang 210, no? There, average of Apple. And since we're going to copy it down, we have to fix the row. Fix lang natin yung row, no? Okay, control enter para doon pa rin siya. Okay, then copy to the right and then copy down. Okay, there. Okay, so meron na tayong excess returns, no? We now have our excess returns. Okay, bawasan lang natin to, sumobra yung dinagdag ko ng column, bawasan ko lang ng 3. Delete. Okay. So, dito yung mga questions, guys. No? All right. So let's now do the variance covariance. Kasi kailangan natin yung variance covariance para to compute for our portfolio risk. Hey guys, remember if pag 7:30 na, you may leave the room. For those of you who want to stay, you're invited to stay hanggang matapos natin dito sa dulo sa question letter C. Okay. All right? Pero konting minutes lang na maidadagdag. Okay, so let's now compute for let's now generate the covariance. Okay, covariance. Okay, so ang ano natin, ang gagamitin natin itong mga excess returns. There. So hinighlight ko lang yung mga excess returns, columns, labels in the first row. Okay, let me put the output here. Dito na lang. Okay. Here, AF2. Dito ko na ilalagay yung output. Alright? So input range natin, check ulit itong excess returns natin. Output range is AF2. Okay. So there you go, guys. Ito na yung variance covariance natin, no? Okay, so we will do something about this, di ba? Unang-una, copy natin siya. Okay, Control C. And then copy natin just the values, no? Values lang. Top and bottom tick border. Okay. Ba't hindi nag-ano to? Okay. Now, kasi ito yung ano natin, di ba? Weekly variance to, no? Ito yung var cover natin na weekly. Kailangan natin yung annual na var cover. Control C, Control V. Yun ang gagamitin natin for our computation ng portfolio natin, yung annualized na variance covariance. Kaso kailangan natin, sige. Kailangan natin, di ba, i-multiply, no? We need first to create the full matrix kasi ano lang to kalahati lang to, no? So if you recall, how do we copy this? Matagal, guys, kung magta-transpose pa tayo, kunyari ita-transpose mo siya dito, no? Tapos ito naman, ita-transpose mo dito, ilang formula siya, mahaba yon. So the shortcut is ito, guys, copy natin, Control C. Copy natin dito sa matrix natin dito. And then paste special, ano ipi-paste natin? Ipi-paste natin yung values lang, only the values. Then skip blanks. Ibig sabihin, wag natin i-copy yung mga blanks. Tapos ita-transpose natin. In other words, parang ibabaliktad natin to. Ito may mga values dito, ibabaliktad natin. Dito natin ilalagay. And then, wag niyang kukopin yung mga blanks. Okay? Okay. All right. So check, guys, kailangan yung mga mirror images pare-pareho. So magkakapareho sila, no? If you take a look, since mirror images yan, 0.002016, 0.002016. Good. Okay. So ito yung gagamitin natin, no? Okay, i-ano lang natin, format natin. Kahit yan, 5 decimal places. Okay. But we have to transform this into annual, no? Lagyan lang natin dito yung 52. Weekly kasi ito. Palitan natin na annual, convert natin. Control C, and then, okay, paste special, multiply. Multiply natin, okay. There. Nasama yung mga ano. Okay lang. 0.89. Gawin na yung mga border na yan. And then, gawin natin, bawasan natin ng decimal place. Oops. 8.5 na lang. Right. Para madali mo check, 001. Check nyo lang, ha, no? Kung pareho kasi baka magkamali. And 041, 41, 5. Okay, good. Good. So this is now our variance covariance. I-highlight natin to. Highlight natin para hindi tayo magkamali kasi baka ma-pick up natin to, no? Okay. Now, ang gagawin natin portfolio hindi kasama si GSPC, ha? Okay, so tatanggalin ko yung kulay na to. Dito nagkamali ako kanina sa isang class ko, kaya hindi nag-run kasi nasasama ko si GSPC. Okay, GSPC guys is just an index, hindi natin isasama sa stocks natin. So itong green lang yan from Apple to Intel, 8 by 8. Ito lang guys yung ano natin. Ito lang yung variance covariance natin. Okay, ito lang siya, no? So I'm going to give this a name, highlight natin. Kailangan natin to para hindi na tayo highlight nito. Let's call this var underscore covar. Gawin natin 2, no? Kasi kanina may 1 na tayo eh. Var covar 2. So only from Apple to Intel guys, ha? Enter. Tapos kailangan din natin yung returns guys, 'di ba? Kailangan din natin yung annualized returns. Ito 'yon, ito. From Apple up to Intel, okay? So I'm going to highlight that. Na-compute na kasi natin to, ano, annualized na to eh, no? And let's call this portrait, okay, 2. Kanina portrait 1 yata, no? Ngayon portrait 2. Okay, oh, kanina portrait 1, ito portrait 2. Okay? So meron na tayong pangalan para sa portfolio return natin, average annualized portfolio return. Meron na rin tayong para sa variance covariance. Okay. So let's now create our portfolio. Okay, number 1, guys. Okay, so average log return natin. Okay, hindi na natin kailangan guys ilagay dito kasi, or if you want to copy it, is equal to, kaya naman natin kinakopy dito kasi, kung sakaling hindi natin binigyan ng pangalan, no? Since binigyan na naman natin siya ng pangalan, so no need to really put that here. Okay, ilagay ko lang yung returns, no? Yan. Okay? So those are our returns for the 8 stocks, no? 8 stocks lang tayo, ha. Hindi natin isinasama si GSPC. Ginagamit lang natin si GSPC para ma-compute natin yung beta natin. All right. First, guys, let's have a portfolio with equal weights, no? So equal weights natin siya. So ibig sabihin, it's equal to 1 over 8. 1 over 8. Okay. So we'd like to know how much is the returns and risk of a portfolio with equal weight. So 12.5% each yung investment natin sa Apple hanggang kay Intel. So equally weighted yung portfolio natin na to, portfolio number 1. Okay, ano yung return siya? Very easily guys, ang return siya is equal to, diba yung sum product natin? So we're just getting the sum product of our weights and our, gamitin natin pangalan natin, yan, portrait 2, di ba? Portfolio returns 2, which is this one. Ito yung portfolio returns 2. Gamitin na natin yung pangalan natin, portrait 2. Okay? Control Enter. So there you go. This is our portfolio return. Okay? If we have a portfolio that's equally weighted. Okay, you'll notice that it's lower than the returns of Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, but it's higher than Amazon, Facebook, Netflix, Google, etc. No? Okay? And Intel. So ganun mangyayari guys sa portfolio returns natin. Parang nasa gitna siya or nasa somewhere between your highest return asset, in this case Tesla, and then your lower returns asset. And tingnan natin guys, ano yung magiging portfolio risk kung equally weighted sila. Okay, kung equally weighted sila, again guys, isa lang naman yung formula ng ano natin. It's the square root, okay? Square root of the sum product of M mult. No? M mult nino. Okay, yung weight matrix natin, ito yung weight matrix natin, no? Comma. Tapos yung variance covariance natin. So var covar 2. Var covar 2, di ba? Guys. Ito 'yon, tingnan mo, na-highlight kagad nung tinawag natin na var cover 2. Mas convenient nga lang kasi hindi na tayo mag-highlight ng mga cells. Var cover 2, close, comma, is a sum product natin with the weights column. There. Okay, take note guys, yung weight natin sum 100%. Okay, close, close, Control Shift Enter. Okay, there. So we have now a portfolio where your risk is 24.85. Okay, 24.85. Okay, sige, copyhin natin yung standard deviation dito. Okay. Okay, what do you notice about our portfolio? Okay, equally weighted siya, no? Equally weighted, 12.5% points each. 24, ibig sabihin, mas maliit yung yung risk ni Microsoft, no? Mas maliit yung ni Microsoft. So, it looks like guys, okay lang, mas mababa siya kaysa kay Apple, kay Amazon, and the rest, no? Pero medyo mas mataas siya kay Microsoft. Okay, what we're going to do is now, mag-create tayo ng portfolio ngayon na, okay, ano nga guys, paki-highlight yung letter B, tapos paki-move down. Paki-move down. Tapos mali itong B natin, no? Dapat may nakalimutan pa akong B dito. Maglagay tayo ng B ulit dito. It will be portfolio that will minimize risk. Control C. Control V. Okay. Portfolio that will minimize risk, pero but no weight constraints. Ibig sabihin guys, hindi natin bibigyan ng constraint yung mga weights natin. So, ibig sabihin, pwede mag-zero yung mga weights natin. Okay, so let's now copy natin to, Control C, then Control V. Okay. So what will happen now guys is, papasolve natin kay Excel to, no? Okay, papasolve natin anong weight ba dapat so that, okay, ano yung portfolio, natin? Portfolio return natin is the weight multiplied by port 2, tama siya. Okay, ito naman, sum product of, ito yung weight natin, times variance, covariance 2, times yung weight ulit. Okay, so tama yung mga, Control Shift Enter, tama yung mga formulas natin ng returns at saka ng portfolio risk, no? Ang kulang na lang natin, itong weight na to. So paano natin mapapaano siya? Paano natin dapat i-minimize to, no? Minimize. No? Portfolio that will minimize risk but no weight constraint. So ibig sabihin, kahit mag-zero yung mga weights, okay lang. So dapat din 100% to, no? Yung sum ng mga weights, dapat 100%. Guys, if you need to go, it's okay. Ako, itutuloy ko lang to. Okay, so let's go again to solver. Solver ulit natin to, no? Data. Okay, data. Solver. Solver, and then objective natin will be, our objective will be minimize our risk. Diba? Ito yung risk natin, minimize natin siya. Ang changing cells natin, guys, will be this one. Ito na yung model natin. Dito na yung weights natin. Okay? That will be our weights. Tapos, change natin to. Ano yung constraint natin? Ito. No? This one, the sum of this one should be equal to 1. Okay? All right. So, let me copy this. No? Control, Alt, print screen para ulitin ko. Control, Alt, print screen para ma-preserve natin yung parameters na to. Okay? Solver, found the solution. Okay. Okay, there you go. No? So may tayo, may mga weights ng portfolio. Ikabit ko lang guys yung Okay, so ito yung ano natin, ito yung solver. Sandali. Where are we? Okay, ayusin ko lang to format. Then let me just crop this. Yung hanggang doon lang sa constraint. Okay. So lalagay ko lang siya dito, no? Para reference natin. Reference natin ng solver parameters natin. All right. So ito yung mga weights natin, guys. Gawin nga natin %. Okay. So, lumalabas dito, guys, na ang portfolio natin 21% yung yung minimum, no? Minimum. So, ang inaano lang sa atin 3.9% Apple, 41.3% Microsoft, 17.8% Amazon, okay? And then Google is 19.8 and Intel is 17.3. So ang suggested niya walang ipapasok kay Facebook at saka kay Netflix. Okay. So yun yung ano natin dito. And the risk is 21.5. Okay. If you compare that with the rest, okay, yun. Yung portfolio na to, guys, okay? Lahat siya mas mababa kaysa dun sa risk ng mga asset. Ito yung sinasabi natin na kapag nagdadagdag tayo ng asset, guys, sa ano natin sa portfolio, what happens is that it will minimize, really, it will lessen the risk as shown here. So dito 21.50%. Okay, and then here naman dito, what if sabi natin ay hindi, gusto kong ipasok lahat ng assets kasi dito hindi natin ipapasok si Facebook at saka si Tesla. So dito maglalagay tayo ng constraint, additional constraint. So ano yung additional constraint natin dito? Dapat maglalagay tayo ng minimum weight na 10% at saka minimum weight na 40%. Okay? So dapat minimum weight 10%. Ibig sabihin, maglalagay tayo ng mga weights dito. 10% yung minimum. Okay. Pwede natin lagyan ng 5% siguro. Liitan natin ng konti ito, no? Let's make this 5%. Para at least may placement din yung ibang assets. Tapos, wag lalampas ng 40% ang sino mang asset mo. Okay. Of course, you can make this 30%, etc. All right. So once again, guys, compute natin yung Control C, Control V, Control C, Control V. Check the formula. Okay, so ang return is sum product ng weights at saka ng portfolio return 2. Okay, yung convenient, di ba? Kasi binigyan natin ng pangalan. Tapos yung variance natin, weights times variance, covariance times weights again. Okay, so very easy to copy the formula. And then solver ulit tayo. No? Pero sa solver ngayon, meron na tayong additional na constraint. Itong dalawang to. Okay, so let's go to solver, data, solver. Okay. Objective natin will be, reset all natin. Reset all. Objective natin will be our, okay, yung portfolio risk natin. Okay. Minimize. Changing cells natin is this one. Okay. Subject to constraints. Ano yung mga constraints natin? Number 1, the total weight should once again be equal to 1. Okay, tapos may additional weight na constraint tayo, add. Yung mga weights natin should be less than or equal to 40%. Wala dapat lalampas ng 40%. Add pa natin, yung mga weights natin dapat greater than or equal to 5%. Wala dapat bababa ng 5%. Okay? All right. So, if you can see here now, tatlo na yung constraints natin. Yung mga weights dapat hindi tataas ng 40%. Yung mga weights hindi bababa ng 5%. At saka yung sum ng weights should be equal to 1. So, ganun din, guys. Minimize din yung portfolio risk natin, which is here. Okay, A54. Okay, and then Control Shift, Control Alt print screen para ma-print natin to. And then solve. Solver found a solution. Yun. Ito na guys yung ano natin, no? Ito na yung portfolio natin. Notice na itong portfolio na to, may laman lahat ng assets, no? Okay? So nagbigay siya ng 5% kay Apple, 5% kay sino to? 5% kay Amazon, Facebook, etc. No? Okay, and the risk is 21.5%. And wait, the risk is 22.38%. No, it's lower than this one, 21.5%. No, lower siya kasi naglagay tayo ng restriction, and also then kasi yung iba matataas yung risk nila, like Tesla, and yet you're forcing it to become part of the solution. Kaya medyo mas tumaas siya dun sa risk, which this is now the minimum risk talaga, no? Minimum risk na pinapasok na kasama tong mga assets na to. Okay? All right. Lastly, guys, okay, na doble pala to. Let me delete this. Lastly is this one, no? Yung maximum returns. Paano naman yung maximum returns? Okay, ganun din, guys. Iso-solver natin to. Minimum weight ng 10%, 40%. Ganito muna gawin natin, sorry. Okay, so let's copy this. Control C, Control V. Dito ko nga, dapat yung buon to. Control C, copy natin. Control V. Ay, kasi may naka-hide dito na, sorry. Kaya pala, unhide ko to. Okay. Alright, yung unang ano natin, yung unang maximize returns, huwag tayo maglagay ng constraint, no? So 0% to 0%. Huwag tayo maglagay ng constraint, clear natin to, clear. So maximize returns without constraints. So pwede mag-zero yung mga pwede mag-zero yung mga weights natin, no? Tapos dito maglalagay ngayon tayo dito ng ng constraint. Okay, so let me just okay. All right, ganun din, no? Ito, copy na lang natin Control C, Control V. Dapat nakasum din yan sa mga weights natin. Portfolio returns, copy natin to. At saka yung risk, Control C, Control V. Check ulit, guys, check. Okay, weights times the portfolio returns. Tapos ito, weights na naman times variance, covariance times the weights. Okay, we arrange it in such a way that pwede natin copyin yung mga formulas. All right, so again guys, sandali. Hindi natin na hindi ko na copy yung kanina, sorry. Hindi ko na copy yung para solver. All right, so ito ngayon, again, solver tayo. Data, solver. Okay, reset all natin, reset all. Okay, now, dito guys, ang objective natin should be the returns, no? Kasi i-maximize natin yung returns. Tapos maximize siya. Changing cells is, yan, that's our changing cells. ang constraint lang natin should be the sum is equal to 100%. Dapat 100% yung sum natin. Okay. All right. So Control Alt print screen. Tama ba? AO. Okay, AG61. Okay. All right. AG59. AO59. Tama. Okay. Solve. Solve natin. Okay. Solver found the solution. And Control V. Okay, so ito yung parameter natin sa pangalawa. Okay, now take a look at our solution, guys. Ang problema nito, nung hindi tayo naglagay ng constraint, linode niya lahat sa ano, kay Tesla. Yun. Okay, so kasi wala tayong restriction, no? Take a look at that, guys. Okay. 100% lahat kay Tesla. Obviously, bakit niya ginawa yon? Wala kasi tayong constraint sa weights eh. So kahit na maging zero yan, at saka gusto natin i-maximize yung returns, eh di lahat ilo-load niya dun sa asset na pinakamalaking returns. But then again, guys, that defeats the purpose, di ba? Kasi sabi natin, gusto natin na at saka yung risk nito, guys, ang laki, no? 65%. No? Yung minimum natin kanina, 21% lang. So i-balance natin, let's just make sure that all the assets are represented. Lagyan natin ng minimum weight na 10%, and then siguro maximum gawin natin 35%, no? So walang asset na tataas ng 35%, walang asset na bababa ng 10%. Once again, copy natin yung formula ng Control C ng risk and return. Lagi natin nalalagay yan, i-check ulit, no? Formula is okay, risk is okay. Tapos yung sum, Control C, Control B. Okay, last, guys, last. So, I'm sorry. Ano ko lang to ha. Let me just format this para nakaposition na siya. Okay, I'll just crop this and then put a border to it. Okay, so this is the parameter for this problem, no? And then lastly, again, data, solver, reset all natin. Reset all. Okay, objective natin itong portfolio returns na to, maximize. Changing cells natin will be this weights. Okay, constraint natin will be the total weight should be equal to 1. Then add, dapat yung mga weights natin should be less than or equal to 35%. Okay, yun ang condition natin, no? Add, also the weights should be greater than or equal to 10%. Let's check. Less than or equal to AG68, tama. Greater than equal to 10%. Sum should be equal to 1. Okay, yung sum ng ano. And then our objective is AG72, tama. Maximize. Okay, so Control Alt print screen. Okay, and then solve natin. Solve. Okay, okay. And then Control B para lumabas yung parameter natin dito. Okay, and then take a look at our portfolio. Okay, ito yung portfolio natin, no? We can see here that there's now balance siya, no? May ano siya, may lahat ng assets nilagyan ng weights. And then ang ginawa niya, no? Ang ginawa 10% yung ibang asset. 10% yung ibang assets, sa 30% si Tesla lang yung pinaka-ano. And it gives us a return of 38%, tapos ang risk niya 30.61%. Okay? So dito may trade-off tayo, no? May trade-off yung returns natin not as high as 70.69, pero yung risk naman is mas mababa kaysa dun sa risk na ipapasok mo lang siya sa isang asset. Okay? So we have looked at the different scenarios, guys, na nagpo-portfolio tayo, and this summarizes, guys, yung risk and return na ano natin na discussion. And just to quickly summarize it, sabi natin na yung concept ng risk and return is universal, and malaki dyan came from malaking concept siya ng galing dun sa kay Harry Markowitz, yung kanyang modern portfolio theory. Okay, so there's a trade-off always between risk and return. The higher the assumed risk, okay, the higher is the required return. Okay, so with that, guys, thank you so much. We end our discussion now. I-pause ko na to, stop recording.